Hello and welcome back to my channel, Thrifty Day. Today's episode is a journal with me. All through the month of June over on Instagram, I'm hosting Journal Prompt June. So this particular layout's theme is what is my favorite childhood memory? This is some of the ephemera that I use because one of my favorite childhood memories is thrifting with my mom. I always like to think that I learned from the very best because my mom was an A+ thrifter. She would go to the thrift stores all the time. I mean, every few days, and she would always take me with her, and I absolutely loved it. I always felt like it was such a treasure hunt. And so those are some of my favorite memories. So that's what this layout's going to be about. This particular piece of ephemera was from a vintage journal that I made. And it was a layout, a full-page layout. So what I'm going to do is just cut it out and trim it up and put it into my journal the way it was in the actual book. So I'm just going to use some of my glue stick and put it right down in the center of my book. I really love it because my mom's favorite color was purple, and those houses are the most beautiful shades of lavender and purple. So I'm just using my glue stick and I'm going to put it right here in the center of the book. I'm going to make sure it's down really well because it's sort of the focal point of this layout, so I don't want it lifting and I want to make sure it's on there really, really well. I always save scraps when I'm making journals, so a lot of the ephemera that's on this page are because I've made so many journals recently, and I have a whole new stock of little odds and ends. And so this is the first piece from a journal I created that's going on here. I'm going to add a little tiny piece of washi tape to the center because I couldn't get glue all the way down, and I want to make sure that it's on there nice and snug. So here's a little piece, these pretty little orange flowers. Also from a journal that I created. I'm going to use my glue stick and just stick it on the end there. I think it's such a pretty addition because the pop of orange next to the purple houses is so lovely. It's hanging off the page just a little bit, so I'm going to add a little bit of washi tape just because it was a little bit sticky and I don't want it to stick to the other page. So now that I have the main sort of ephemera down, I need to decide where I'm going to put this little piece of ephemera. It is a picture of Snow White's mom. It's from a journal that I made. It's from a storybook. And there's also this little picture of Lucifer. My mom loved cats, and that's the cat from Cinderella. And I also had a cat named Lucifer, Rusi, so I definitely wanted to put that on there. So I'm going to turn that little piece of storybook into a top-loading pocket. I'm going to add double stick tape to 3 ends of that image, and then I'm just going to stick it right to the book, right to the very top, and you'll see that it creates a top loading pocket. And it's just tight enough that that picture will stay in there really well. I don't have to worry about it falling out. And I also had this really sweet postcard that was sent to me by a friend, Magic Stitch & Co. on Instagram. She sent me this really sweet postcard at Mother's Day. It says, Happy Mother's Day. And so I just stuck it to the back of that photo of my mom. And that way I could save it in my journal along with the picture. And that's just gonna go in that top loading pocket. I'm gonna put some staples in there to reinforce it, but I'm really happy with how this is looking so far. And I love that I get to see my mom's picture right in the middle. That little card with the sunflower I got at one of the most recent estate sales I went to. And the writing inside looks so much like my mom's that it actually kind of took my breath away. When I first opened it, I was like, oh my gosh, is that my mom's writing? It wasn't, but it was beautiful and a nice little memory nonetheless. Now I'm going to add these sweet little vintage stamps. They were sent to me all the way from Denmark. So I picked one that looks like my mom. The little girl, I think, looks a lot like my mom when she was young. One that is a purple flower because purple was her favorite color, and then an orange stamp with an orange flower on it to match that flower trim over on the side. So I'm just using my glue stick and I'm going to glue them right down to the top of the page. Once I'm done with the page, I'm going to go back and journal a little bit about those stamps because they are so sweet and I did choose them for very specific reasons. And now I'm going to put that little Lucifer picture on there. It's vintage and it's adorable, and since my mom was such a cat person, I knew I had to get that on there. So I'm just sticking him right to the side because he had to be on this page. And I'm really close to being done. I'm so happy with how this came out. I love all the colors. It really reminds me of my mom. It's very reminiscent of her, which was the goal. So I did my journaling off camera, and now I'm just going to use these little tiny word stickers to add just another layer of journaling. I'm absolutely loving doing Journal Prompt June because it's really helping me fill this journal with so much of me, my thoughts, my goals, my memories, just kind of what makes me me. So I kind of am really loving that about this journal, that when my kids or my friends or my family pick it up in the future, they're going to really get a little piece of me. And that's something that makes me very happy. And it's also been very therapeutic to get my feelings down every day in my journal. So I hope you were inspired. I hope you liked this layout. If you are interested in participating in Journal Prompt June, head over to my Instagram. I post every day, usually in the morning, a journal prompt, and you just journal about it creatively or even just in writing in your own personal journal. Thank you so much for following along, everyone. Have a great week.